Welcome to another The Way We Do It. I'm Andre. Good to see you guys back again. So back with another behind the scenes of some funny stuff that was happening. This episode we're going to talk about Mac 10 when he came through the studio, and in this one as well, I'm sharing with you the multi-talented Rickey Smiley, who hosted our first season, and he brought his character Little Daryl to the show. So again, I'm going to walk you through a couple. I try to pick a couple of clips that kind of bring the show the range from Act 10. And again, I'm highlighting talent in these couple of episodes, talent from the music world that I think have a place in film and television. And when we're starting to come back and we're starting to do new things, I was just talking to someone and they're talking about how they're going to be recycling a lot of old stuff to bring back to the marketplace. And I'm like, yuck, there's so much original stuff, stories out here. Young people want to see original stories, and there's a lot of untapped talent that we've had that can play different kind of roles. And that's why it's a passion of mine to not only do up and coming talent that have decided to be in film and television, but talent that's in other areas that can be just as well in film and television. It kind of reminds me of the days of Elvis Presley. If you do some research with him and his film career. So there's always been a bridge between music artists and going into film and TV. And I think for our folks, we need to continue to do that. So before I start with some of the clips that I have, I do want to go, because this is the first time I'm actually talking to you about Rickey Smiley. And I do want to kind of give you a backstory with him and the show. When I was putting the sketch comedy show together, the first season, we had a host. And I had a long period of time when I was show running on Comic View to be able to hear see all the comedians have a ball, as well as be introduced to Rickey Smiley and his type of comedy. And I said in another episode before that for me, I was looking for comedians that had characters, their own characters, that they were already bringing to life. And what my thoughts of doing the sketch show was to be, with some additional simple props or whatever, we could really bring that home. And he was one of the first ones, because he had some really incredible things that he did on stage that you can actually close your eyes, you can actually see some of the characters that he created. Is unbelievable. So I did want to kind of go back, and I promised you in the very beginning, because I worked for BT for 12 years, and I was there when a lot of these things were happening. And I'm not really seeing a lot of the truth sitting out there in the marketplace where you guys really need to know what was going on. And it's not salacious, but I think it's important for you to understand the behind the scenes and in front of the camera, so that you can get an idea of how to create total production, right? So we need experienced people behind the cameras in all aspects, as well as in front of the cameras. There's no doubt we've got incredible talent that you see on camera, but there's the same type of talent that you need behind the scenes. And a lot of behind the scenes talent, a lot of it is crafted. You learn how to do a lot of those things, so which is important. But back to Rickey Smiley. So I want to talk to you about his hosting, how he got the hosting job. Now, there's some stuff out there. I hope my boss doesn't get mad at me, but there's some rumors out there of like who picked Rickey Smiley to host Comic View. And I know who actually picked Rickey Smiley to host Comic View, because I was there when my boss, Curtis Gadsden, said we wanted him. And this happened when we were shooting Comic View in Atlanta. We're doing the Comic View series in Atlanta. Rickey Smiley comes out with this character that has this big shoe. It's like a bigger shoe. It's a huge shoe on one side, and he has a regular shoe on the other side. And I kid you not, people were laughing so hard, he couldn't even start his routine. He had to wait. As soon as he was about to open his mouth, they started cracking up again. and it was just unbelievable. They had him in stitches. And that night, my boss Curtis Gadsden said, "Andre, go backstage and offer him the hosting job for the next season." That's how that happened. So if you heard anything else, there was no other VPs that did anything with that. That was a direct. And how do I know? Because I was the one that physically went backstage and offered him the next year's hosting job. So I wanted to kind of clear that up because, we just got to nip a lot of this stuff that's just untrue. I've got that from our watching a lot of these political shows. You don't call people liars. You just say they're untrue. So that's how that happened. And because he just had those great characters, man, I just knew he was the type of person that was looking. And this show was geared for as people, stand-up comedians who had that kind of personality. So I wanted to kind of give you a backstory on that before we started with this one. So in this case, remember I did a DJ Quick episode, and this one is a Mack 10 episode. I did a string of talent that had the opportunity to host a show, and I think that's important. And remember I was telling about before, rappers, just depending on their style and their persona, this was going to be very interesting because Mack 10 has a much stronger persona than say DJ Quick in the sense of just that, when you're around him. And I want you to see how even with that, because it was a sketch comedy show, he was still able to show his range. And I think that's important because again, rappers, they have a certain kind of persona they need to push with their music because, that's their livelihood and that's their image. But then when they want to expand, they've got to expand beyond whatever that persona is that they have in their music game, but a persona that they're comfortable with, but that stretches it. So I appreciate Mack 10 taking the challenge and coming over to a comedy show, doing a comedy show, because he could have just said no and didn't want to do it, so that in itself should trigger Hollywood into like, let's seriously look at someone, because I know there's roles he can pull off. So again, I'm excited about that one. So I want let's just jump in. I'm going to show you his opening clip, and then we're going to talk about it, and then we're going to get into that Rickey Smiley clip, and I have a couple of extra clips in here that I want to talk about as well. So let's get to his first opening clip.
What's up, dog? What's up, homie? Oh! Mack 10, dog. Mack 10, you Mack 10, dog. Paper round, popping, all that, dog. Banger ball, dog. Mack, what's happening, man? What's up, homie? Oh, man. Dan the Goblin, yeah, man, I'm...
So, periodically, I'm going to stop it because I want to kind of break down things as they come. So again, the reason why I like Roman Murray, that's the comedian that you're seeing here, Roman Murray, is he's funny, but he has a softer approach, a slower approach to his humor. So if you're not used to comedians kind of getting funnies on you, he's the perfect type of person to start off with. So he kind of does a slow burn, and you can kind of see here, Mack 10, he's keeping his Mack 10 persona, but because you're a comedian, man, a comedian's going to make you laugh. I mean, you can fight it, you can hold it, and that's fine, but they're going to find a way to just let your guard down. And again, like last week, I think it's very important to have a real audience in front, right? Because you got to have, and I'm gonna backtrack because I'm gonna go back to the very beginning, because that whole thing when we talk about laugh track, we didn't have laugh tracks. We use our studio audiences laughter, and I think that just gives a kind of a feel. So let me start it from the very beginning real quick again, just to kind of remind you of that energy.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Mack 10, and welcome to The Way We Do It, and we gonna do the damn thing for y'all tonight, What's up, dog? What's up, homie? Oh. Mack 10, dog. Mack 10, oh, you Mack 10, dog. Paper round, popping, all that, dog. Banger ball, dog. Mack, what's happening, man? What's up, homie? Oh, man. Dan the government, man. Yeah, man, you know, I'm technical engineer, if you really want to get garbage. You're a gangster, so yeah, garbage. What I do is, I only collect celebrity trash. You know, I go into people's stuff, you know, then I collect the celebrity stuff. You know, I don't go to regular trash. There ain't nothing in there but empty.
How you know what celebrity trash is?
Oh, I tell you, check this out, man.
Well, let me stop you right here because I want you to really to understand. And anytime you can see Roman out there in the marketplace, man, out the road, man, go support him. Okay, so comics, you know, so Mack's a little guarded. Mack Ted's a little bit guarded, which he should be because you know this is new. Remember, we don't do a lot of pre-production. It's not rehearsals, a lot of scripts. A lot of this is live, so Roman knows who it is. You know, they're going to do their little homework, but this is pretty much a kind of a live thing. But you notice how in Roman's Dan, the garbage man character, it's about celebrity trash, right? So soon as if you ever, you know, you're sitting somewhere and someone calls you a celebrity, I don't care how crazy you are or how mad you are, you're going to be like, oh, I'm a celebrity. So even though he's going to start talking about his trash, is a key element for him to say, I go into celebrity trash. So by me going into your trash, I'm going into celebrity trash. So you are a celebrity. So that's all turning in your mind. So this is how comics just, you know, kind of get people calm because they make them feel comfortable in the conversation. And as this continues, you'll just see how Mack 10 is now comfortable with this thing about, okay, I went into your trash and I'm pulling out some stuff, and there's probably gonna be some funny stuff in there. But Roman starts off with this comedic respect level of saying whoever he's talking to is a celebrity because he only picks up celebrity trash.
Yeah, look at these. Now, look at these, what I got right here. Look at that dog, huh? Look at these.
What's that? R. Kelly videotape?
R. Kelly videotape.
Cool. That's cool. I don't get out like that.
This is the video compilation, partner.
Yeah?
Everything on him. Yeah? Look here, man. I love your music, dog. I mean, you producing, rapping, you're a bad boy, man. You got that voice, you know, all that. Are you nominated for a Grammy this year?
They don't want like me winning no Grammy.
I heard that. But you know what? The way we do it, won't like you winning the Grammy. So we're going to give you an honorary way we do it. Way we do it, Mike, dog.
You see right there? So Mack 10 was trying to hold back on that laugh, but he couldn't do it, man, because Roman's genius is he's having fun with the talent. He's not disrespecting the talent, but it's fun. And so Mack's trying to hold it, you know, which I love this because I mean that just tells you the genius of stand-ups, where they're able to get someone who's you know trying to be reserved. But remember, we're a sketch comedy show. We gotta it's gotta be funny. And remember that audience, we're not laugh tracking. There's no manager out there, you know, telling them to clap, right? Because if any of you guys get the opportunity to go to some of these shows, you're going to actually see, you know, stage managers in the audience, you know, asking people to clap. So we didn't do anything like that because I had stand-up comedians and they have to make people laugh for their trade. I mean, it's just, there's no, if they don't laugh in this, you know, when they're out there doing their thing on the road, man, they're going to get booed. They're going to get something. So that's what I totally enjoy about that. So let's just, it's a couple seconds.
This for you, man. This for you, man.
Set it right there, dog. Set it right there.
You cut the lights off when you're done, dog. I'll holler at you.
And so you see, cut the lights off, dog, when you leave, and the audience was into it. And Mack felt that energy coming from the audience to him, and he even stood up and he started to smile as well too. So that's why I love the sketch comedy in this format when you pick the right people to do it, because it's just not off the cuff. This is folks that have been trained to pull that off. And again, just to run down, our talent troupe. They get to find out who the talent's going to be for the show, and they do their homework. And you noticed, well, you'll see some of the other clips as well too. But in Roman Murray's case, he knew the albums, he knew what they were talking about. Now again, in this show, I can't show the performances because I don't have the rights for the music. So, but in this show as well, at the end of the show, Mack 10 also performed. But even talking about the titles and people's reactions, we did this in Burbank, California, and so West Coast rappers are extremely well known on the West Side. So that wasn't a problem. But I think I never talked to Mack 10 about this, but I think that him hearing that the talent knew his albums by titles, just subconsciously just lets that they're doing their homework. They're just not treating him just like, someone else, treating him like a true celebrity, that we're going to do our research and incorporate what we can into our sketches to make it personal to you, right? Because remember, I'm using recurring characters, recurring sketches, episode after episode. So Dan the Garbage Man comes back, as well. So that's really important. So I want to go, and now you're just going to really kind of see the character genius unfold with Mack 10 and the really talented Rickey Smiley. Let's show that. Oh, sorry. I always like to kind of introduce this. So he has a talk show. Little Daryl is his character, and it's a Little Daryl talk show. Which there should be something like this on television now. So this is taking talk to the next level. So Little Daryl each week invites a guest on and has a conversation just like any other kind of talk show. So let's just show you Rickey Smiley's genius at work.
Our show has been brought to you by milk. It gives the body gas. Welcome to our show, Mack 9. I'm sorry, Mack 10. Welcome to the show.
For sure.
I wish I could have just got 4 curl rows. She would have did it fast. This took all day.
Your spin ain't long enough yet.
You're right.
Now let me just stop you there. So what they had, see, you just can't. This is what I love about being a producer, man. This is why let your talent breathe. Let your talent do what they do. Now they both have cornrows, right? So it's like, hey, do this in advance. This is the talent doing their thing, right? And this is a natural thing, and what they're having this conversation for. So I'm being smart by just staying out of the way of my talent and allowing them the space inside of their sketches to do what they do. And the only thing my job is at this point is to make sure I capture it, right? Video and audio, and let the talent know to the degree I can in advance who the talent is so they can kind of do their homework. Now, I can't say if Rickey Smiley's cornrows happen because Mack 10, that I have to ask Rickey if I see him, because I don't know that part. But again, to use that in the show just makes it so organic and so real.
Nah. I be seeing you on the video, and I heard your song, Four Live, Mack 10.
Hey, homie. That was in 95. The new sheet is Bang a Ball. You got that?
What?
Yeah.
Bang no ball.
Yeah,
That's your new song?
that's my new album.
Oh, when it come out?
Came out.
Now, did you catch that? So here's again the stand up. The comedian got Mac 10 to smile and a little bit of a laugh, right? Because their job is to calm them down. Their job is to make them feel comfortable. So again, this is where this is, and I preach it all the time. This is why I love stand up comedians, man, because they have this ability, and this is what gets to me scripted out of things. They can't use those natural abilities that they have by being on the road, doing what they need to do in scenarios like this. So this is why I want to make sure platforms like this continue to exist, or we bring them back. My goal is to bring it back because this is where, man, stand-up comedians can just thrive. Maybe that's a fear of Hollywood, but I think Hollywood needs to do other things now because young people, we got to come at them a little differently. So those young people in the audience are just cracking up, and it's the genius that's on that stage right there.
Out in December. You ain't got it?
We ain't got no tape player. You got it on tape?
You ever smoke?
My mama did. Y'all mama did too?
All right, now I got to pause there because obviously they said a little bit more. You could just kind of guess what they're talking about at the time. This is in the early 2000s, the kind of drugs that they were talking about. But I had to clip that out. But I wanted to keep as much of the original stuff in there because of the timing of it. But this is what had them dying. So I just wanted to kind of share with you. Yeah, there was and you could just guess what they were talking about. That was kind of messing up people on the streets. But but we had to clip that part out. Sorry.
Y'all mama smoke? What y'all clapping for? But I had some extras in my alphabet cereal.
You ain't never had no.
I don't know. I mean, we got a cat next door.
Now, see that right there? Now, Mack 10 is in full laugh mode now, right? So this is, you can't get, Rickey Smiley has got a hardcore rapper in full laugh mode here, right? Just by everyday connotations off the cuff. This is why I like to just break these things down a little bit for you guys. What they do, it feels so natural on the stage, right? What they do, the hours that they put in to refine this. But you see the expression there, man. Mack is just like, man, I was trying with Roman Murray to hold back, and now this fool, Rickey Smiley, it just, and it's a character. So again, it kind of, it kind of reduces the tension because it's just not like man on man, like da 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 da. So it's a character. It's cool, and the audience is having a ball. And again, at no time do my comedians attack any talent, right? It's never an attack on talent. We're not shaming them, and we ain't bringing them down. We might say some things that are known in the real world, like Roman Murray didn't insinuate directly to Mack 10 had anything to do with it, but having some R. Kelly tapes at the time, that was a big deal. But how Roman was able to deliver that, it was what it was. Enough about that R. Kelly situation to be like to laugh about it, and that's what our audience. So we knew. So that's the genius of these comedians. They're able to give out enough that it's in your mind what you need to laugh to, and they don't really have to say a lot.
I want to just say you're one of my favorite rappers, and I want y'all to go out and buy this song, Full Life Mack 10. And what's the new one?
Bang a ball.
Bang a ball. Welcome to the Little Time to Talk with Lil Darryl.
All right, homie.
And I will give you one of my t-shirts.
For sure.
Thank you. Good night.
Now, this is how, to me, especially in the Black community, this is how we're able to move money around and support each other, right? So our music artists come on typically because they got albums that are dropping, and this is part of their promotional strategy in the marketplace. But we don't want to do it like shameless plugs, but do it in a way that Black communities get it. So when something's hot on the streets, especially back in those days, this is the days when you had CDs and stuff. But when something was hot on the streets, people were having these conversations, right? Barbershop, beauty salon, at your high schools, even if you could, the raw versions of it, you had it on, CD players at the time. See, I'm aging myself. And some of your friends who couldn't listen to it at home would come to school and at break time, behind the gymnasium, at between classes or whatever, could listen to music. It was key, and this word of mouth was and still is a very powerful thing in the Black community. And the way my talent here is dropping these nuggets. It doesn't feel like shameless plugs, right? It's just like it has a very natural appeal. And trust me, when he finished this show aired, if people weren't already buying his stuff on the West Coast, they were going to buy some more. And remember, this is a national show, so I think at this time, I think BT was in about 60 million homes. So folks in Mississippi watching it, and you go out and you buy it. But this is, to me, and I think now in 2025 into the future, brands need to do this more beyond music. Music got this back in the day, where your products are part of the programming as opposed to just doing ads. Your Heinz ketchup. You'll see what we're going to drop a name, a product a little bit later on it, but it's not even going to feel like it could be that. But whoever owns that product should be smart enough to realize, hey, that was an internal ad in a sketch that's going to stay forever, as opposed to constantly just doing these. You run your show, here's a 15, 30-second ad. You run your clip, 15, 30-second ads between stuff. If you do it in a cool way, in a smooth way, does it take a little bit more time to do this? Yes, but I think Gen Z and Generation Alpha that's coming right behind them, they're very sophisticated in how they're absorbing information. And, I taught for 26 years at a design school out here in California. And that was the majority. It was at a fashion and design school. And, lifestyle is everything to them, right? So it's all about the lifestyle. You go to Coachella, but Coachella is a whole thing. Where you eat before you go to Coachella, what you're driving to get to Coachella, what you're bringing on your blanket while you're watching the event Coachella. When you come home, if your friends came into town to go to Coachella and you were staying somewhere, Airbnb or a hotel, which hotels you stayed at. It was a whole thing because you would come back the next year and duplicate it. So lifestyle is very important. And so if you can incorporate your brand into your stuff in a cool way, it's really important. This kind of segues me back to when at BT, when we were doing specials out of our California offices in Burbank. There was an event we did. It was the night before Soul Train. And the sponsor at that point of Soul Train was Coca-Cola. And Coca-Cola had their Sprite brand. And Coca-Cola was reserved for Soul Train, but that was on a Saturday. So they wanted to have something, and a lot of celebrities were coming into LA for the Soul Train Awards, but they were coming, a day early. You normally do. You roll in a little, get some rest, and then you're ready for Saturday. And the performers, that gave them a chance, and then anyone else who was coming, other people in the record label, other people in the music industry, it was an industry kind of a thing. So what BT had was the night before, we had what was called Sprite Night. So it was the Sprite brand, and they were looking at they looked at I don't know, they still do it. Pretty much, I think they still do it. the Coca-Cola brand is more like their family brand, right? And the Sprite brand was their youthful brand. So for us, it'd be the Gen Z brand. And I think it's still like that now when I look at stuff. They tend to do that. But back then, so they wanted to introduce, because they were already doing the weekend, it was like, that would be a nice way to introduce their Sprite brand without conflicting with their Coca-Cola brand. If any of you guys know about brand managers, you didn't want to mix the two. So Friday before Soul Train was designated as Sprite Night. So that was so Coca-Cola, the company, gave us Sprite. So they gave us money to do a music event on the night before. Now, the thing there was we could not use any of the artists that were a part of Don Cornelius's Soul Train on that Saturday. We couldn't use any of those artists, which makes sense, right? Because, you're spending a lot of that money, you're bringing them in. So what we had was up and coming and new artists or artists who were not getting any kind of award on Soul Train. Now, most award shows, your artists come out with something, and it's probably in the next year is when you're going to celebrate their award. So there was like a lag, right? So the people who were doing Soul Train stuff came out prior to, so that they could be in the awards. So what we ended up having is the people who are popping right now at that time, right? Because they would be in the next year's Coca-Cola award show. So we were getting, talent that was hot at the event. And so, and we lucked up because there was really nothing else going on the Friday before the Saturday event, because people were rolling in. You roll into your hotels, hey, what we're gonna do, And so now Sprite Night just took off. It became huge. Now there's some backstories that the Soul Train people weren't too excited about that, but that wasn't our fault, right? We just took the Friday. We didn't mess with any of the artists that were going to be a part of it. And we had a brand that understood that they wanted an association with a youthful audience, and that's what became of Sprite Night, and that's what it was called. So I say that to say to you is I'm learning these experiences of how to incorporate brands into programming in a cool way, as opposed to like shameless plugs. So I think in 2025 and in the future, brands need to focus more on product placement, but do product placement well, not just shameless plugs product placement. Does it take a little bit more time to do it? Yes. But I think it's important because young people look at products as part of their lifestyle. So as opposed to just like shameless plugs, just gearing up everybody, it just looks corny, but it has to be creatively done and subtle to the degree where you can kind of pick it up. You're in a restroom, a laser restroom with lipstick, and they're putting some stuff on, and the stuff that they're wearing, like I think of my sister, her whole bathroom's got all kind of products in there, right? This is like real. My sister's not in the entertainment world. All the products are sitting there. They're gonna sit there every day anyway, right? So things like that. So let me finish up on I edited it. So let me finish up. Let me go back to full screen here just for a second, because I'm going to go to some other things. But I think that was important to share with you some of the techniques that's happening as we move forward. And like I promised, you kind of saw the Rickey Smiley genius, subtle, but was able to pull it off in real cool ways. Variety of people. I'll be showcasing some more of his Little Daryl episodes as we do more episodes. So you're getting, but I'm kind of focused on the music people right now, just quickly, because I think that this is the area, this is the opportunity to expand audiences, and I'm sure a lot of music artists would be very interested in doing it this way. I see it a little bit with a lot of the reality shows that use music artists. But for me, there's a reason why you can still watch sitcoms that were shot in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s because they have what we call good shelf life, right? So right now I'm started doing some retro stuff. I'm watching some Sanford and Sons and Good Times and Family Matters, and I think I said to you last time I was kind of bored. I was watching some the Parkers back to back. Countess Vaughn and Monique are funny people, man. I mean, it just is what it is. So again, I'm big on programming that it has more writing to it because it is something that you tend to do that's a little more evergreen. And what I mean by evergreen? Evergreen means it's the kind of humor that just does not, it doesn't have to be dated. It's like, something. I don't know who's watching Bachelor year 2. You know what I mean? So it's like it's great when it happens, but then you move on. And so when you're bored stiff and you're watching your television and you're looking for some stuff, reality shows, old reality shows aren't getting picked up for your viewing habits now, right? So there's a reason for that. There's some extra energy. So yes, we're doing a lot now, but because they're kind of cost effective. But for me personally, the shelf life isn't where it needs to be, and you got to put that extra effort in and do some things. And for me, a lot of those reality shows that have music people, and then even some of the athletes, done right, especially in the Black community, a lot of athletes and stuff done right, and it's just my own personal thing, but I just don't like seeing a known athlete in their profession then doing that same profession in the show, right? So it's like you're a basketball player and then you play a basketball player. I mean, come on. You're going to have a few of them, but you should be able to assess that person's talent, not because that they're an athlete and you're going to find athlete roles for them, right? But, and people are doing that, but there should be a variety of roles for them because you're just assessing how good they are in what they do. So I think that's really important. So let me go on to my next little clip. And this one is okay. So remember last week I talked to you about energy, right? So I like Roman Murray coming first because he kind of warms you up. Rickey Smiley coming. It's not Rickey Smiley's humor is a little more amped up, but he's more character driven and his timing is impeccable. And then I want to show you. What am I going to show you next? Well, okay, let me show you something, and then I'm going to go to Leslie because the power of Leslie and Belinda when they do their thing. But I want to share you something because last week when I talked to you about how you got to be careful once you know who your talent is, what their line is, and how you have to master that kind of energy. So Mack 10 is going to go into a segment in a scene here with Doug Williams, who is Gus the Cabbie, and Gus the Cabbie out the cab kind of a thing, right? So that right there, kicking someone out, rapper, that could be a place where you're like, whoa, right? So this is where I lean on our comedians to do their thing. So let me find that one. Let me bring that one up. Let me play this one, and then let's talk about this one.
I love all your stuff.
That's cool, homie. I need to get to Manchester, Inglewood Ave. Get to Inglewood Ave.
Oh, sorry. Why is it not doing that? Okay. Let's try that one more time. Here we go.
And make a left at the first corner. That's Queen.
Oh, let me just back
ain't
up.
no problem. Ain't no problem.
Let me go to the front. Okay, here we go.
Mack 10 in the house. Mack 10, what's up, man? You be putting it down, man.
Now, just to kind of give you, this is what you see when you're watching it, this producer eye. Now you notice Mack 10 is leaning back, and the expression, no humor on him, right? Now for me, that body posture means I'm not ready to engage. So I'm stepping back. I knew what Roman Murray energy did. I knew what Rickey Smiley's little Daryl character did, but I don't know you, right? So he's leaning back and he's not smiling. So now our comedian has to, well, I know Doug has picked that up. So Doug has picked it up. We got people laughing, so now our talent doesn't know, is that laughing at me or with me? So now this is where the comedian has to feel that out and make our talent comfortable.
I love all your
That's
stuff.
cool, homie. I need to get to Manchester and Inglewood Ave. Get to Inglewood Ave, make a right, and make a left at the first corner. That's Queen Street.
Oh, that ain't no problem. Yo, man, I be loving the way you put it down. Now, all of the celebrities, I'm gonna take you where you need to go, but all of the celebrities that get in my
You
cab.
got the directions I gave you, homie?
Now, again, see that technique? He said, all the celebrities I have in my cab. So Doug is already establishing now that, Mack, I see you as a celebrity as well. Remember, he said, all the celebrities I have in my cab, boom. So here's again his way of making Mack 10 feel comfortable, because he's saying to him, you're a star. I need to get you where you need to go. But now Doug's a comedian, so he's gotta weave in the funny.
Yeah, Manchester.
that? All right.
Yeah,
All
Manchester.
right.
I know where it is, because
All
I
right.
go down there a lot, especially late at night on them booty calls. But I have a checklist, and all of the people that get in my cab, celebrities, just go down the checklist and give me my stuff. You know what I'm saying? This is what I need from you. It's just.
See, so again, he knows it's gonna be a challenge at the end of this sketch, right? So Doug in advance knows it's Mack 10. He knows what his sketch does, and he's got to figure out how to get to the end of this thing, right? So again, he drops celebrity a second time, and if you've ever gone to my channel, the Way We Do It TV channel, and watch some of the old episodes, this technique he's doing here with Mack 10, he hasn't done this one with anyone else, because he's doing his homework. And he knows, I got to get to the end of this sketch alive, right? And so it's like, I can't be, I got to make sure I do this right. So again, this is why I love stand-ups, man. They know what they do. He didn't say anything to me in advance, and I never do. I just tell him who the talent is. If there's anything that, it's got album dropping, all of that stuff, but that's it. There's no deep dialogue. I don't go in there and say, hey man, this is Mack 10. No, because, Black people, we know our own artists. And that's the other thing. Culturally, there's a cultural connection here. So I don't have to go into it, be explaining things about rappers or any of our talent that comes in, especially our Black talent. Now, I've had in the past some non-Black talent that I needed to give a little more information on, because our audience, our talent pool might not know them, and that's the only reason why I do that. But even in booking non-Black talent, I still like to find talent that the Black community is still aware of, right? So, I had Ed McMahon on the show, and everybody knows Ed McMahon would come to the hood with that big old check, clearing house and give away that money. Black people knew about that, right? They know who that is. On another show that I did, I remember meeting Anthony Michael Hall. He's a white actor who was on 16 Candles, and he came to me, and we were just having a conversation because he was booking on. We had a late night show. Booking on a late night show, and I found out that he had, through one of the bookers of the show, I found out that he had an album. And now the thing you got to know about Hollywood is they tend to keep you into your boxes, right? So if you're an actor, you're not supposed to be doing musician stuff, etc. So Anthony Michael Hall had a group, had an album, and I listened to the album. It's pretty decent album, pretty good album. And I said he could perform it when he came on the show. That was not a problem. And he kind of was like, are you sure? And the second thing was, he said, do you think black people will know me? I'm like, you did 16 Candles, man. It's like, we know that show. We know that movie. We've seen that movie. And I forgot what it's been a minute. I forgot what I said about this certain scene, but I broke down who he was, who his little character, his little pink shirt doing in the back, in detention, and that whole thing. And he was kind of looking at me like, I don't know, sometimes white people are interesting that they don't know that we live in two worlds, especially black people. We live in our world and we live in the mainstream world. And if we don't see ourselves on shows, then we have to recreate ourselves on this show, right? Because it's just the nature of growing up, right? It's like one of my favorite, when I was a little kid, was Three Stooges. Wasn't no black people on Three Stooges, but I knew funny black people in my house, in my family. So, one of them had to be that. So we tended to do that. So I say that to say that, you people who are cool and not even realizing that, they have an audience and, we were open, hey, come through and enjoy yourself. That was our whole vibe. So a lot of it we didn't have to do because a lot of our guests were black, but those who weren't, I tried to get talent, non-black talent that the black community was aware of. And then every once in a while I would throw in some that they totally weren't aware of, but they had the vibe, and you just got to just know that about your people. It's funny. Black people are very honest with their reaction if you're good. Now, it might take them a second, and I'm really going to age myself now, but and I've heard this, in documentaries from before about Tina Marie. And when people first heard Tina Marie, they thought she was black. And, Tina Marie is she's white and she's from California. And when they first saw her, or they were like, oh, that's Tina Marie with Rick James. And they're like, she's white. And then she started to sing more and more. That's what I love about black people, man. Then there's just like a little click. It's like, and we'll say something like, "Oh, she a cool white girl." I mean, that's our way of just reconciling what that is, and we move on. Hey, so we have here, man, that's a cool white boy. That is our way of acknowledging, who you are. We're not going to be like, if you down, you down, right? And so, we'll do all kinds of things. We'll call you white chocolate. These are terms of endearment. Right? If you're balling, you're balling the right way and you happen to be white, but you got skills. Well, Eminem is a rapper, so it is what it is. I mean, I'm from Pennsylvania, hardcore Philly folks was like, whoa, man, he got licked, right? So it's an earned trait. So I say that's why I enjoy what we do here. So let me get back to Doug's genius in making this as good as he possibly can with someone who's not necessarily, totally on board, with how Gus the Cabbie moves.
Read it out, and you could just...
CDs.
Yeah, I need some CDs.
I'm on my way to the hood. I ain't got no CDs. Concert tickets. And an autograph.
Yeah, autograph. You ain't got that either.
No.
Well, flip the page over. Read that one out loud, real loud.
Get your ass out the cab.
Yeah, I need you to get out the cab.
Now, this is, I have to stop here, man, because you guys have to just understand this stuff comes so natural. But he, in trying to figure out how to, because Gus the Cabbie's whole character is about kicking someone out the cab. And Doug is like, this is Mack 10. He's got a persona. I'm not sure how to do this. What does he do? He gets Mack 10 to say it himself. Let me go back. This is just comedic genius right here. Let's see if let me just go back a little bit further. Let's see if I can catch it.
Yeah, I need you to get out the cab.
No, sorry. Let me go back.
Loud, real loud.
Okay.
Get your ass out the cab.
Get your ass out the cab. Now, Doug repeats it but it's after Mack 10 says it. Wow. Then now you talk about how to just bring the temperature down. So Mack 10 can't come at him hard like that because he read it. And he read the directions himself. And then Doug responds to what Mack 10 said out of his mouth. Wow. That little subtlety is in the sketch world, this comedy world like this, which I think, Doug thrives in doing these sketches, because that skill, now this might not translate well to like stand up, big audiences. It's not supposed to. That's a live sketch comedy skill that he has. And what I want to do is just make sure we have a platform for this kind of skill that we have. And as you can hear, the audience, man, they're loving it.
Yeah, I need you to get out the cab.
Get out the cab.
Yeah, get out the cab.
Get out the cab.
Yeah, that don't sound like a bad idea. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Now here, okay, so he thought that was going to work. Mack 10 comes back at him. Like, that's just not happening. I'm not going to allow you to have this happen on this sketch. So again, Doug is driving this relationship, right? So let me slip it back. So let's just see what Doug does when he, because no one has ever done this before on the show. No one has come at him this way. This is the first time. Let me just kind of go, and let's play this out, and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah, that don't sound like a bad idea. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Right there?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
So let me stop it. Let me go full screen. So, let me just do that. I don't know. Let me just make sure. Let me go back to it real quick, because, man, these little things are just so important.
Get out the cab.
Yeah, that don't sound like a bad idea. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Right there?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Now, even in Getting Out, Doug is staying in character, and you'll see it, and I'll play it again, but you see how he gives him the wheel and still gives him directions. So he's not giving him a wheel like freak out, oh my God, and he's running away. It's not a fear thing, right? You see how he engaged, and he's taking the energy and moving it differently, but it's not a confrontation. And let me just say it again. See what Doug does. He gives him the wheel, and then he points in a direction to continue out the sketch. See that little subtle thing that's Doug, man. That ain't got nothing to do with me. But let me go back. You can pick it up, right? You'll see what he's doing here. So he's this could be like, this could get, Mack's not gonna do anything crazy because it's a sketch show, but they're playing characters. So but still, I trust my stand-up comedians to know how to disengage the energy and do it in a way to keep the funny. And so this is something that they have inside of them. This is something they've been doing in their professional lives. And so that's why I'm just kind of breaking these things down to you point by point, because this is true genius. And you see the audience loved that. Right? So they were like, okay, this could get a little tricky right here. But the whole thing, the whole sketch maintained humor. It was a different, there was a little different kind of confrontation, but it stayed within what it needed to stay with. And for me, that's because Doug Williams was controlling his sketch. He was controlling if it got out of control, he knew what to do to keep it. This is not a writer writing this for him. This is him controlling his own sketch. And this is why I took the approach of having comics who are in this sketch world like this who can have a character and control their scene regardless. Because remember, one of the limitations I had was I didn't have a lot of prep time. So we didn't have a lot of time with our new talent coming on board to walk through things, right? So I leaned heavily on my stand-up comedians to pull this off, and they pulled it off. And so that's why I'm sharing this with you guys. So this last segment, again, I want to go to my Leslie Jones, because this is that energy thing. Remember, Les is the one that comes up. So let me bring this Leslie and Belinda Foster one up.
So we're gonna go ahead and go to the first caller, Mack.
Let me go.
Hi, this is Bill Clinton.
Let me go back to the top. I'm gonna get better at this. Sorry.
Yeah. Welcome to Phone Jones. I'm irritated about to break some chops in some of this place I read. And I'm mad-ass Maggie, and the subject for today is career guidance, and we got a special guest on our panel today, Mack. In the house. That's right. We're gonna be doing that damn thing. So we're gonna go ahead and go to the first caller, Mack 10.
Hi, this is Bill Clinton. I'm from New York right now, and hey there, Mad Maggie and Irritated Irene.
What's up, Bill Clinton? See, hey, we got VIPs in the studio, and we got them calling the studio. You like that, Mack?
Now, again, I'm sure you guys are starting to pick this up. Leslie Jones, what did Leslie Jones say about, what did she say about celebrities? Let me go back real quick.
New York right now, and hey there, Mad Maggie and Irritated Irene.
What's up, Bill Clinton? See, hey, we got VIPs in the studio, and we got them calling the studio. You like that?
See, again, so this is their genius. They're again reinforcing and reminding Mack 10 that he's a celebrity, right? So, and celebrities are treated a certain way. It's just how celebrities are. So again, this is within a sketch comedy show. So again, now the ladies have a better challenge in the sense, especially when they have males come in, that males tend to be less guarded with our female talent, right? It just, it's just the man-woman thing, right? However, though, our guests do know that these are comedians, right? And so female comedians can come at you just like a male comedian can come at you. So there's some hesitance. But again, even with Les, she did that celebrity thing, right? She's like, celebrities are on air, on the voiceover, as well as inside.
That's the president. That's sweet.
That
That's right.
That's right, Mack 10.
So what can we do for you today, Mr. President?
Hey, Mack 10, I just tell them bow down.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
What happened is I left my
You
job.
told that to go down.
True, that's real.
Yeah.
I just left my job.
Now, this is the only reason. Now, thank God we're not like live. I shoot this live to tape, so one shot. But so it just depends on who the talent is. Sometimes you might have to do some bleeps in there. But I don't like retakes. I let it go live, and then we just bleep the part that you go, because the energy is there, and if people can't hear or understand what's under the beep, that's funny too. I think that's funny as well.
Of 8 years, and now I'm trying to explore new options. How do I open up a soul food restaurant?
I think you got to be black to do that.
Hey, he almost black though. He played the sax and smoked. Same thing.
We might take it.
Now you see what black people do. Now, Bill Clinton, our former president, is about as white as he can get, but we let him get to the line where you're going to be black, right? So we let you get close, and then from that close line, because you're cool with us, then we're gonna be cool with you. So we kind of give you a status with us, and that's a natural thing that we do, and it's a natural thing that would just happen there, because if there's certain things that non-black people do that is recognized from the black community as a positive thing, we get into it.
You know what? I'm glad you called in and asked, though, because ain't nothing worse that makes Mad Maggie mad than some bad-ass soul food. That's right. I'm serious. What you need to do is go ahead and spend the money on the Red Rooster. Spend the money on the Red Rooster, partner. Spend the money. We're going to take the next call. Bang a ball. Bang a ball. Oh, Lord! Oh, Lord! What you need to do is go ahead and spend the money on the Red.
Now, remember I was talking before, Red Rooster is a product. That's a hot sauce for those of you who don't know it. So the way it's coming across, this is where a product like a Red Rooster or any new kind of product, understanding how to get involved in shows the right way, it just becomes natural off the tongue. This, to me, is going to replace the traditional ad spots in new programming, is that you got to find ways to incorporate your brand into the programming itself, as opposed to, and then that requires something a little different. It requires a different kind of funding, for these brands to fund shows. This goes back to, for those of you who never knew about a soap opera. Like, where does that term soap opera come from? Soaps, soap. That's the Tides, the detergents. Soaps needed a way to advertise their products to, at that time, women that were at home washing clothes. So they created segments around their soap ads that became soap opera. So that's where that word soap comes from. That's in the 50s. So maybe 40, yeah, probably 50s, 56 is when America, after the war, we started getting more money into the suburban scenario started coming out, and we started really cranking up manufacturing non-military products, and we were great at that. And so I think we're swinging back to that kind of a product placement thing. So this is what Leslie does, genius, right? Leslie Jones and our sidekick, Belinda Foster.
Rooster. Spend the money on the Red Rooster, partner. Spend the money. We're going to take the next call. Bang a ball. Bang a ball. Oh, Lord! Oh, Lord! I know you thinking my mama want to know what I do.
Now, you see there, Leslie's got powerful energy coming at you. But you see how the way she does it, got him to smirk into the smile, right? Got him calm. Because even though she's got that powerful voice, but she knows how to use it in a way that's non-threatening. Her genius.
We got that next caller.
Hello? Hey, Mad Maggie, irritated Irene. It's me, Cinnamon.
Cinnamon Stick, what the hell you up?
Okay, after talking to you last time, I decided to change my career from being a fluffer to a stripper. But the only problem is I don't know what to do with my kids when I go to work. What should I do?
Hey, first of all, let's go back to you going back to being a stripper now. You used to be a fluffer. Once a fluffer, always a fluffer. Or as our guest White put it, this. Still rolling chrome boy, it's on, boy. You can take the boy out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the whole boy. Check this out, Mack 10.
Now see, now how Belinda comes with a different kind of energy, right? But again, she's acknowledging who Mack 10 is through his albums, right? So he's sensing that she knows, she's done her research as well too. It's a different kind of energy, but she's acknowledging who he is in her quirky way. So again, both of these ladies is genius of how they're able to take different kind of energies. Leslie brings a certain kind of energy. Belinda Foster brings a certain kind of energy, but with both of their energies, they make the talent feel comfortable. And I think Mack 10 understands that they know what they're talking about and they know his album. So they kind of, because he's a little nervous. He don't know what's coming off of that voice, who's coming across there. So, he that's some nerves, but they're making him feel very comfortable. And you saw that laugh, right? You saw him laughing. That's the constant goal for any kind of talent that we have to come on the stage. That's not really, a laughing type talent, to get them to laugh. Because those who like to laugh, they gonna laugh. But it's the ones who don't like to laugh. Our job is to get them to laugh while they're with us.
That's my favorite song. Yeah, you can't get no better than that, Mack. You got anything you want to tell homegirl? Because you know how
that's what that was?
Yeah. What What you need, you know what, Mac? You know what, Mac? Show them how it's really done, Mac. Show them how they really do it.
Show what?
Show the damn thing. Do the damn thing. Flo, show them how you do it.
Man, I don't freestyle.
You don't freestyle?
Hell no. I don't do nothing for free.
And on that note,
Now, see, again, here's now they were thinking, like I was thinking, that Mack 10 might drop a couple of bars, right? He might go into something, but he went the other way. But you see how they were able to quickly, they weren't like, you know, or trying to press him. No, please. They didn't beg him to do it. They felt it. They felt that he wasn't going to drop nothing. And so they knew how to pivot. Let me just kind of go back to that. And we're almost done for the day. Let me go back.
I don't do nothing for free.
Oh, let me go a little.
don't show them how you do it.
Man, I don't freestyle.
You don't freestyle?
Hell no. I don't do nothing for free.
And on
Now, you notice how Leslie's voice tone went down. She didn't go, you ain't going to freestyle. She went soft. She gave soft, what I call feminine energy. She gave soft energy. She almost whispered it. You don't freestyle? You know, it's just like your mama. You do something. It's like, baby, you want something to eat? You know, she knows how to bring the tone down. This is where woman comedian understands, okay, he's coming with this energy. He don't want to do something. She naturally, Leslie, I don't know her personally like that, but I know she's grown up around men. And I could just sense that she knows when she brings that energy down, she can get them to do what she needs them to do. And she just naturally and geniusly just brought her tone down so that he felt comfortable, because he was like, I don't want to do this thing. She brought it down.
that note, bang a ball, baby. Bang a ball.
Then she goes right back to her. She brought it down. She's like, okay, you're not going to do this for me. She brought her tone down. You're not going to do this for me. Fine. Then she went right. So in her mind, she's ending this sketch. And now she's coming back with her energy to shut it down. So let me just kind of walk you through. I know this went quick, and I know I'm a little bit over time, but I think this is important.
No, I don't do nothing for free.
Oh, let me go back just a tad bit more.
Flo, show them how you do it.
Man, I don't freestyle.
You don't freestyle?
Hell no. I don't do nothing for free.
And on that note, bang a ball, baby. Bang a ball.
So again, I just wanted to share with you in my deconstruction of the comedic genius that was on that stage. You know, give it up again to Roman Murray. Give it up again to Doug Williams. Give it up again to Leslie Jones and Belinda Foster and our talent Mack 10. And I wanted to kind of show you. I wanted to kind of deconstruct it, and then lastly, the incredible genius of Rickey Smiley and his character, Little Daryl. That is why I was excited about doing the show, and look forward to doing future shows like this and using stand-up comedians and giving them a platform to do this, so that we can open it up to other kind of talent. So thank you for hanging in there with me on another episode of The Way We Do It. And this week I came out twice, so I'm starting to play around with some other time. So just be ready, like and subscribe, but be ready to come in, because I'll pop up because I just think now we need a lot more humor in our lives. There's a lot of crazy stuff going out in this world, right? So it's like, ooh, boy, you got to watch this stuff. So as I continue to get more stuff, I'll drop lives like this, and I'll also drop some standalone sketches that I think warrant getting out there. So if you subscribe to the channel and The Way We Do It TV, you'll get notified of those as well too. But I look forward to coming back at you again with another live episode of The Way We Do It. And I'll see you next time.